Hello, my name is Linda Gamba. I am running again for the board, and it is important to me to maintain the outstanding appearance of the Haven and to ensure all amenities are maintained, reviewed, and repairs approved prior to those amenities falling into disrepair. I believe we should ensure projects are completely in the timely manner and that we should communicate with residents in the consistent manner on the timely basis. I believe the director should be proactive to all the issues. My vision was to maintain the enhanced fiscal responsibility, ensure capital projects are completed for timely manner, ensure priorities are set as in reasonable, logical manner. Always let the Haven homeowners know what the board is doing. Look for possibilities to increase, maintain amenities in the existing condition. My qualifications, a vice president on the non-food division at the Feroli Corporation for 25 years. I had a $40 million sale project. An operation director of a candy company for 7 years, managed and refurbished of an amusement park. I was a buyer at James Ray Retail Store, modifications committee for 2 years, and then 4 years as the president. Member of Property and Ground Committee for 2 years, 2 years on the board, P&G liaison 2 years. I also had the Veterans and the Patriots Special Interest Group, a member of that for 5 years, organized Veterans Day ceremony and for 4 years, and coordinator for Bible study. My education was Keene College in Union, and I'm looking forward to going to another 2 years on the board.
Morning. My name is Mike Turner, and I'm a candidate for re-election to the Haven Board of Directors. I've lived at 48 Ocoee Drive since June of 2016, and my wife, Vivian, of 39 years, and my puppy, Axel. We are formerly lifelong Connecticut residents. Thank you for the opportunity today to introduce ourselves and discuss our qualifications for the board. While all the candidates today will bring something to the table, I believe I'm uniquely qualified to continue to play a role as a member of the resident board of directors with good common sense leadership. My expertise at the Haven includes being the first chairman of the P&G from its inception in May of 2017 until I was elected to the Pulte Run board in the fall of 2018. I served as vice president of that Pulte-led board. Following transition, and in 2019, I was elected to my first 2-year term on the Haven Original Resident Board. I was elected as president by my peers, and I'm now nearing completion of my second term. I've worked my way up through the Haven ranks, serving on committees and learning from others about the inner workings of the Haven. I've been exposed to all governing aspects of the Haven, including the governing documents, budgets, finance, reserve projects, and communications options, and performing hands-on experience with other volunteers. My professional career has also provided me with the background and experience which continue to be helpful and necessary for my role on the board. I'm a retired licensed professional engineer and a land surveyor, beginning my career with 2 private architectural and engineering firms, and later as a town engineer, public works director, and emergency management director for Wethersfield, Connecticut, a community that's about the size of Bluffton. I'm currently accredited member of Beaufort County Sheriff's Office CERT team, which is Community Emergency Response Team, and there's only about 50 of us in the county. The role of resident board member requires a huge time commitment and an understanding of our governing documents, budgets, the ability to develop and set policies and make decisions in the community's best interest. This knowledge comes from years of service on the various boards and committees in the Haven. Some residents have been calling for changes in leadership and replacing management at the Haven. Looking back only 4 years ago, when Pulte ran this community, we had no records, no transparency. No minutes were ever taken of any decisions made. The irrigation of common spaces were probably 20% operational, landscaping was overgrown, and we were being charged exorbitant vendor fees. Management then relied on contracted services to do everything, including changing light bulbs, where now staff and volunteers account for 90% of this work and have completed this with a huge cost savings to the community. We have nothing but positive changes over the past 4 years of resident control. With my leadership, we've developed written policies and procedures on how the Haven government works. Our HOA assessment has been held to modest increases. The Haven remains affordable compared to other communities, and our reserve balance is in fantastic shape. Our communications efforts through website, email blasts, and info meetings keep any resident updated and informed. I vow to continuously improve and learn from the past and continue to provide honest, pertinent information to you all. I'm always listening to what residents have to say. This board has implemented the CAR reporting system so that we can be assured issues are followed up on, and we've also implemented a lessons learned policy to assure we're always improving and growing better. Your voice matters, so choose wisely. The choices you make now will affect the Haven's future. We should place our faith in experienced homeowners who have committed their time serving the community, not those who grandstand, Monday morning quarterback, and have never served the community nor volunteered for any committee. We are elected and run as a representative government. Some candidates are proposing CC&R changes to allow resident votes on all expenditures, which in my opinion, we'll find difficult, if not impossible, to obtain necessary quorums for decisions. These candidates will seek to hide behind those curtain and not take any responsibility for those decisions. You may choose one candidate or you may choose up to 5 candidates. My vote will be for an incumbent candidate and the current residents who have invested their time and effort and gained valuable experience doing so. I believe I have the tools, skill sets, and historical knowledge to keep moving the Haven forward. I thank you for your continued support and your vote. I encourage you also to support the incumbent board members who are also seeking re-election, Linda Gamba and Bill Anderson, along with those experienced committee members, Ray Melanson and Don Robertson, who are also seeking a board seat. Finally, you need to ask yourself, is there really need for change?
Hello, my name is Jim Arthur, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video chat, which will give you a quick summary of 5 challenges that I see the Haven facing now and in the future. So due to time constraints, let's just get to it. Number 1, transparency and communication. No matter who I talk to in the community, transparency and timely communications is a reoccurring topic. To minimize this, I would propose that all board meetings, including the briefing meeting, be open to the public so anyone interested in having real-time information can do so. I hope every board candidate can agree to make this change. Also, when people exclude specific groups or clubs from their communications, that is the exact opposite of being transparent. As a board member, I want all residents to be engaged in the conversation. Number 2, inflation. There are many items that we have limited control over related to inflationary costs. These include utility rates, not usage, taxes, and insurance. There is an area that represents over 20% of our paid HOA assessments that we do have some control over. And yes, I am talking about ground maintenance. Living in a high green space community is a beautiful thing. However, the manpower to maintain this space needs managed. The irrigation system needs repaired, and new plantings cannot be made until it's fixed and operational. We all want the public areas to look beautiful, but it will take planning to make sure that the cost of maintaining the grounds does not become cost prohibitive. Let's embrace the natural environment that we love. Number 3, capital asset replacement. Planning for capital replacement projects over the next 3 to 5 years is essential and should be well documented to the community. The master plan to address capital asset replacements estimates we are going to need well over $1.5 million over the next 5 years. This will include things like roads and pond dredging. It is the board's fiduciary responsibility to make sure there are funds available to pay for these capital repairs. According to the August Finance Committee report, a minimum of 11% increase is expected for this year's HOA. These numbers have not been finalized, but it is the current board's responsibility to make sure we address the financial needs of the community based on the facts they are presented. Number 4, discretionary spending. Should there be a cap put on discretionary spending before voted on by the community? I would be open to discussing this option. However, I believe the limit cannot be so low that it handcuffs the board in moving initiatives forward without a community vote. There would rarely be a discretionary spending item that over 50% of the community would vote for, so setting a limit too low prevents any real change or enhancement of the community. Number 5, enhancement fees paid by new homeowners. Enhancement fees are paid by new homeowners at closing. These fees should be held in an account specified for actual enhancements. If I'm paying a fee for enhancements, then there should be a fund that is used specifically for enhancements. Currently, these funds have just been rolled over into the Capital Reserve Fund. Having an enhancement fund would provide a good starting point to know if a requested amenity enhancement should even be considered. If the enhancement fees would have been accounted for separately over just the last 6 years, there would be over $170,000 in this enhancement fund. Imagine what enhancements we could have done. Okay, so there are just 5 of the challenges that I see as we move forward. I do believe that if we address these in a transparent, factual way, we will be successful working together to make the community a better place to call home. Please don't forget to read my bio, which will give you some personal background on myself, as well as qualifications to be on the board. You need to trust the people who represent you, and I will work for you. So please cast a vote for Jim Arthur. If you have any other questions, please send an email to jarthurfamily@gmail.com. And remember, we're always looking for volunteers, so please get involved.
Good morning, friends and neighbors. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Don Robertson. My lovely wife of 45 years, Marley, and I have been residents of the Haven for 4.5 years. Over this time, I have served on the Modifications Committee and most recently on the Strategic Planning Subcommittee, and I'm also involved in several clubs. So why am I running for the board of directors? 3 reasons. I want to continue to give back to the community. I feel I can make a positive change by leveraging my work experience and background. And having recently served on the Haven Strategic Planning Subcommittee, I have a vested interest in seeing the approved strategic plan succeed. So what do I bring to the table? I'm someone who will listen, be proactive, and seek common sense solutions. I have excellent communication skills, and I'm a team builder. I'm someone with 18 years of executive management experience, managing large multi-million-dollar operational and capital budgets and getting things done. I'm someone with experience in creating operational efficiencies through process and change management. I'm someone who will be impartial in my decision-making, and I'm someone who sees the big picture. Bottom line, I will represent the residents of the Haven to the best of my ability, executing the primary duties of a board member. But it goes beyond that. As a board member, I want to create trust, unity, community pride, and a sense of belonging. I will not be a silent board member. I will conduct myself the same way I conducted myself throughout my 29 years working for the Marine Corps with one word: act. I will be accountable. This builds trust. I will communicate, but that communication will be relevant, concise, and timely. I will be transparent, always keeping in mind, what do I know? Who needs to know it? When do they need to know it, and why? My 10-year vision of the Haven is to see a vibrant and financially stable community. So how do we get there from here? Through leadership, teamwork, and setting priorities. My priorities start with the execution of the strategic plan to lay the groundwork for achieving this vision. First priority is getting our finances in order to project long-term stability. We need to provide more transparency and be more proactive, keeping residents informed as to what is coming and how it will affect the HOA by doing 5-year forecasting. Second priority is taking care of our beautiful grounds and amenities. We need to identify immediate and long-term needs, develop the plans to address these needs, communicate those plans to the residents, and then execute on those plans. The third priority, which is important as well, is the security and safety of our residents. We need to keep residents informed by providing timely and relevant information, identify areas of concern, develop action plans to address those areas. Fourth priority is improving community engagement. This was brought up several times during the strategic planning focus group meetings with the need to increase volunteerism. In my opinion, volunteers are the lifeblood of the community. We can improve this by doing a better job of informing residents about opportunities to volunteer and what is involved with those opportunities. This can be done by improving our outreach program to existing and new residents. We have 80 to 100 new residents coming into our community every year, and we need to tap into those resources. We can make all these things happen if we work together as a community. I would consider it an honor to represent and serve the residents of this community on the board of directors. I'd like to thank you for your consideration and your support. Have a great day.
Morning, I'm Stuart Gold, a 14-year resident of the Haven. I've decided to run for election this year after being fairly quiet for the last 13 years. There are several things that have occasioned my desire to get on the board and to make some things change for you. I want to put residents first, and I have a vision, and that vision is that we need to have the right to vote on any discretionary spending over $50,000. We can play with that amount, it's not fixed. But the point is, we had a $300,000 plus retreat renovation a few years ago. We had no community vote on it. We didn't even get a vote on different expenditure levels. I let that go by. But when this third pickleball court project arose, I got really upset. There's a $150,000 expenditure now, although it started out at $80,000 and then it became a $100,000 line item in the budget. And we were presented with a task force evaluation that did not have one mention of the usage statistics. That would be the first thing I would have demanded. Anyway, this was the final straw for me to see that 4 board members, that's a simple majority, could just make a $150,000 decision for around 20 or 25 pickleball players that want to play in leagues. When we have 950 residents that would end up paying for this. That led me to our documents, the CCNRs as they're called. They're our main governing document. We need to amend that. It should have been amended when Pulte left, but it wasn't. So we need to amend that, and we will have to have a majority of the board do that. One member can't accomplish that. Our landscaping has been underfunded for years as prior boards keep choosing the lowest bidder. This is visible to anyone who has been here for longer than 5-6 years. Our irrigation system needs major work and apparently has always been that way. And this is going to be a major expenditure in the future to get it right. And there's no point in improving the sod and all the other stuff if we don't water them and keep them alive. Our financial statements also need to be available faster and put on the website immediately. Now, the Miller-Dodson report just came in. We appear to be underfunded significantly. This year, it looks like about $69,000. And next year, if we stay at the current rate, it'll be $94,000 in 2024. This is going to mean we'll probably have significant increases coming in our dues just to catch up. We need to conduct a careful analysis of our financial state before we make any new decisions on amenities or improvements. We also need to examine and evaluate our method of self-governance and see if having an outside property management company might do a better job than we are doing on some things. I also think the new board needs to be more transparent in how decisions are made and votes are cast. I will encourage the new board to be more responsive to residents by having weekly or at least monthly office hours for residents to express their concerns and discuss problems. The 3-minute no response window at board meetings just isn't enough. I'll use my decades of financial experience to help improve our financial status and to especially focus on our reserves. Security and safety in this area is another issue that needs to be thought about as New Riverside becomes much more populated. Now, back to the main reason I'm here, amending our governing document. If you elect myself, Stefan Kaiser, and Dennis Strobel, we will make getting you the right to vote through an amendment a top priority. This would get every household a vote on any discretionary spending over $50,000. We need you to vote all 3 of us onto the board for you to have any chance of getting this amendment enacted. No other candidate has expressed any support for this. Of course, we would work cooperatively with all the other board members to address our most pressing issues, such as our now way underfunded reserves. Thank you, and I hope you vote for the 3 of us.
Hello, my name is Bill Anderson, and I'm a candidate for re-election to the Board of Directors during this election cycle. I moved here in 2017, and since then have been involved in many leadership roles, serving 2 years as Vice President of Grapes of Us Wine Club, and I've served stints on the Finance Committee, the Elections Committee, and 3 years on the Communication and Technology Committee, the last 2 as chair of that committee. I was elected in 2021 to serve a 2-year term on the Board of Directors. That term is now coming to a close. It has been my privilege to serve that 2 years, with the current year serving as Vice President of the Board. One of the major goals of the Board for 2023 that they wanted to accomplish was to update and rewrite the Haven Strategic Plan. Last winter, I volunteered along with fellow board member Lonnie Sanders to co-chair a board subcommittee to accomplish this task. We began in January and completed it in September. We recruited a group of strong, well-qualified people for the subcommittee. We got over 20 residents to participate in focus groups as part of that process. The final strategic plan was submitted to the Board of Directors and sent out to residents for comments, concerns, and questions. And the final version of the strategic plan was adopted by the board on September 19th at the board meeting. One of the things that made me decide to run for re-election was the strategic plan. The implementation of the new plan should be the most important thing on our agenda for the coming year, and I want to be involved in that process. Our previous strategic plan was well written, but was not successful because there was no follow-up after it was approved. We cannot let this happen again. The new plan needs to be implemented to chart out a 3 to 5 year roadmap that will take us into the future. I also think that next year we need to have as a high priority the establishing of a format and policy process for new and or renovated facilities and amenities. This is needed so we can have guidelines for doing due diligence, obtaining information and facts, as well as cost. It will provide a process that will help us avoid the kind of conflicts we experienced in the recent pickleball issue. And it will ensure an orderly process so a sound and informed decision can be made about the expenditure of funds. We do need to maintain our fiscal responsibility. Board members are required to act as a fiduciary when they are contemplating spending the community's funds. We need to maintain that posture and make good, sound decisions for the welfare of the community. For next year, we also need to perform another bathymetric study of our ponds or lagoons, because one of the largest expenses we face in the future is the dredging of these ponds. Our first study was done in 2019 and delivered to us in January of 2020. This is a survey done by an outside company to tell us the specific conditions of the lagoons, such as building up of silt, etc. Our Property and Grounds Committee has conducted a test that shows a preventive maintenance program of cleaning catch basins around the ponds could substantially reduce cost over time. This study will provide the information needed to establish a priority list that can help by pushing the time frame for dredging further out. In closing, I will repeat that I have enjoyed serving my term on the board representing you, the community owners. I would appreciate your vote for another 2-year term on the board. Thank you very much and goodbye.
How you doing? My name is Ray Melanson, and I'm running for the board. You may not know me by sight, but if it helps, I'm the guy doing the digging around here. I'm making a lot of gopher holes in hopes of repairing our irrigation system. But that being said, I want to move on. My thing is that I agree with everybody that we need to keep track of our finances, our capital expenditures, our landscaping, our reserve funds. And that's why I want to adopt the strategic planning, because it is a footprint for the next 4 years, and it speaks to the financial stability, the sustainability, the community revitalization, the beautification, the engagement in the communications, open space and amenities, security and the risk. This document was put together by a team of residents. It was 2 BOD representatives, a subcommittee of 5 people, and 20 focus group people. So I believe that it is a document that is well represented by the community, and that's why I support this document. As far as the communications go for the havens, the board has done a good job when you compare that to the old days of Pulte, which there was no communications. However, I do believe that there are some issues, and we can resolve them by improving the communications. I think the lack of communications is a spread the rumor mill, and the rumor mill basically is a disease that we need to stop, and it is imperative that we have build a better communication network. And that I am more than qualified to be on the board. I have served in the Property and Grounds Committee from 2017 to 2023. And in that time, I've served as the chairperson in 2021. And I oversaw the shed project and the Big Bopper project. Big Bopper is the one that cools the pool in the summertime. So those are two significant projects that I headed up. And with that, I think that I also want to see the other candidates that are running for the board are have to show more interest in other committees. The lack of commitment from the candidates that are running, I think that these a lot to be desired. I think that's all I have to talk about. I do think that we as a community have to be mindful of the board, and when you have a select group of people that are running for the board under the same platform, you have to keep in mind that if you elect the whole group of that same mindset, you will have only one thought process. And so I am running as an independent, so I have no agenda other than improving the life at the Havens. And so be mindful and be watchful for groups that try to take those rights away from the Havens. Thank you very much, and hopefully the best candidates win.
Hello, my name is Stefan Kaiser. You may know me from my previous election run in 2021, my frequent attendance at board meetings, or from my time on the Communications and Technology Committee. You may even have seen me walking with my wife and our Black German Shepherd Lager around the neighborhood. We've loved living here since 2016. I'm a lifelong servant. I served our nation as a career Army officer. I also served the American people by planning for, responding to, and recovering from national disasters while working for the U.S. Secretary of Health. I'm not done serving, and it's time for me to step forward and serve you. Together, you and me, we will work to move the Haven to a place we all can be proud of. Issues that I'm passionate about center around giving us a voice in the policies of our community. We, the residents, must have a say in how the Haven is managed and how our money is spent. We must ensure all capital expenditures above a predetermined threshold require a resident vote. The annual budget must be reviewed by residents and require resident feedback. Our governing documents must be reviewed and updated to reflect resident participation in community management. With due diligence, we must prioritize all projects and expenditures to minimize the fiscal impact and maximize our return on investment. We must hold our community management and contractors accountable for their services. All board and committee meetings must be open to residents so we can see how the sausage is made. And finally, as I said 2 years ago, we must change the management culture from reactive to proactive. I have a detailed, task-oriented, no-nonsense, get-the-job-done philosophy. I will listen to you, I will hear you, and I will act for you. But most of all, I will respect you. I'm a resident, and I won't forget that. I will work tirelessly for you and our haven. Remember, it's your house, your community, and your money. Let's manage it together for a better haven. A vote for me is a vote for you. Please also vote for Stuart Gold and Dennis Strobel, who share my philosophy. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your support.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Smith. I'm running for a seat on the board of directors this year in the Haven. We've lived here for the past 3.5 years. My wife Josie and I have live on 20 Heathrow Avenue, one of the newer sections in the Haven. We really enjoy it. We have some wonderful neighbors. We are fairly involved in things. My wife's the vice president of the Bocce Club. I'm involved in the Haven Golf Club, been involved in the Haven Emergency Response group that finished up their work last year and submitted information back to the Haven, back to the community. And a lot of those things that we did were put in place for the benefit of the residents. I want to start with one word today, and that is volunteer. That's a person who freely gives and offers to do something in exchange for others willingly, with or without anything in exchange. I feel this is what the board position embodies, giving back to the community and its residents, helping all to make our community a better place for all residents, with the emphasis on each and every one who has a vested interest in the Haven. I'm not here to fulfill any special agenda, wish list, or specific interests. Kind of coming as a newcomer, if you will, to the board. I'm here to offer my expertise, background, and honest representation to the residents to better serve the community as a whole. You can find all the specifics in my bio that I have put together either here in the Haven in the lobby, or I believe it would be available on the Haven website. One of the things that I believe we want to do is, and I think it's critical, is to bring unity to the community by giving residents a voice to be heard and not ignored. I think sometimes we try to look for the negative in things versus positive. But I think what really has to happen is we have to bring the board together to produce some positive outcomes. One of the things I'd like to share with you in closing is that in many years ago, I was in municipal government for 42 years, and one of my old mentors used to tell me that effective leadership is doing the right things for the right reasons at the right time. I feel at that time, my time is now to provide that leadership to the Haven, and I would appreciate your vote. And thank you for your time and listening, and I appreciate the time that you took in listening to what I had to say. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tom Blaskowski. My wife Sarah and I purchased a home on Weeping Willow Drive 8 months ago. We fell in love with the Low Country over 20 years ago. We came down every spring for our 2 weeks vacation in April, and we just loved it. In my professional life, I had substantial experience in sales and marketing, management boards and homeowner associations. I've dealt with budgeting, asset and facility management, and capital planning. I worked at McCormick for 14 years, and while I was at McCormick, I was on their multiple management board where I led cross-functional team in different projects that would bring innovation to grow the business. I like to think I'm someone that tries to think out of the box to find ways to save money and improve service levels. When we were over at Kalawasi, where we lived for the last 8 years, I was the racket sports chairperson for 4 years, and then I was on the common property and open spaces, which is similar to the P&G over here. And I believe that having a board member with the knowledge and background that I have would be an advantage to the community. I've only been, like I said, we've only been here for 8 months, and I felt like I've made some serious friends that I'll have for the rest of my life. So I care about this community, its natural resources, its image, and preserving the aesthetics of this community. I care about its affordability to all homeowners. Our POA fees are very much like the property taxes that we pay. It affects the value of our homes as dramatically as the conditions of the amenities. If the fees spiral out of control, our homes are worth less. While the current board has done an excellent job of putting us on sound financial ground, I believe that we need to look more closely at how we allocate resources and seek maximum value for every homeowner. While the current boom has filled the coffers of many homeowner associations, including ours, that experience tells us that this is going to slow down, and eventually we need to be prepared for that reality. So tomorrow afternoon at this time, you'll have heard 12 individuals give their impressions and their feelings of where we are and where we need to be. I hope that you choose the 5 new individuals that will continue us on a solid financial footing, but also will be able to, with the 2 additional board members, lay out specific plans on how to end the divisiveness that's running rampant through this community right now. I thank you very much for your consideration, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Helene Cuget. My husband Don and I have lived in the Haven for 12 years. We love it here. We're proud to be here. And I don't want to change anything. I want to enhance and improve. I've been involved with the community since I moved here, founding Haven Helping Hands. And I was a president for 3 years plus, in and out president and vice president. I'm very happy with the board that we have now, and I think they're doing a terrific job. I was secretary of Grapes of Rust for 3 years, and I was president of the Mahjong Club for 1 year. During that 1 year presidency, the board wanted to charge us $15 for setting up and taking down tables every single week. With great help from the members of the Mahjong Club and presidents of the clubs in the community, we got the board to stop that, to not go forward with it. When there was indiscriminate burning in the Haven, when Pulte was burning trees and stumps and causing breathing problems for people that live here, I met with the mayor of Bluffton and DHEC to enforce safe environmental burning in the Haven. I was treasurer for 1 year of Friends Backing Up Armed Forces. I've been a poll manager and continue to be for a total of 6 national and 6 local elections. I was a hospice volunteer for 14 years and English as a second language volunteer for 4 years. I believe in giving back. I believe in being part of the community. My career was in sales and sales management in corporations such as Bell Atlantic and Hertz Car Leasing. For 11 years before retiring, I owned an LLC representing corporations and clients such as Dell, Stryker, AT&T, and placing candidates throughout the United States in positions from sales to senior vice presidents of sales with companies like that. I believe in the Haven. I believe there has to be changes to improve it, but not tear it apart. I believe as a board of director member, I have a fiduciary responsibility to do what is best for the community, what is best for the residents of the Haven, regardless of my personal opinions. I believe the board of directors should be transparent and accountable by having all votes public. And I also think you should be able to attend all our meetings. Transparency is very important for you to believe in what we're doing and that we're doing the best for you. I believe the board should have a limit on discretionary spending. I don't think we can just do what we want. I believe that it has to be reasonable. I believe it is the board of directors' responsibility to be fiscally responsible and ensure that monies are available to handle emergencies and projected projects. I believe our volunteers are an asset to our community and appreciate the good work and the hard work that they do. Who am I? I have always conducted my personal and professional life with fairness and integrity. My strengths include listening, negotiating, bringing about compromise, and creating win-win results. I'm a hardworking, energetic individual. For all of the above reasons, I hope you will vote for me to represent you and to ensure that the Haven is a beautiful, financially strong, and friendly community that we can all be proud of. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, my name is Dennis Strobel. It would be my pleasure to serve as a board member at the Haven. I'm thankful for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you. My wife, Chris, and I have been residents of the Haven since January of 2017. We have experienced many wonderful people and enjoy our lifestyle here. We chose the Haven for several reasons. It's beautiful landscaping, it's a smaller community, it's quiet, and has reasonable HOA fees, plus a lot of friendly people. When the Haven transitioned from Pulte to our self-governing HOA, several events started taking place that caused me some concern. We had deteriorating common grounds, plants and trees were dying, had a lack of attention to the lagoons, some berm areas, and roads. Property values have soared, but our common areas at the Haven have definitely declined. New leadership on the board brings fresh ideas and perspective to our community. What about we, the residents? I will regularly make time available to listen and share thoughts with you. This is where we live. This is our property. It's our money. Let's together identify issues. Has the Haven properly identified their short and long-term liabilities? Does the community have control in the budget and amenities expenditures? What decisions are being made without proper project analysis, i.e. need, cost, HOA fees, impact? Does the community have the ability to vote on measures that impact costs? Has your voice been heard for large expenditures? What has to happen? Well, we need to rewrite the codes to benefit the community. We need budget approval by the community. We need to review the organizational structure for potential changes. Large expenses, $50,000 or more, should have community approval. Amenities to be based on need, not on want. These are just a few of the issues that need to be addressed going forward. We need to protect our reserve funds, focus on our infrastructure, and work to beautify the Haven. Let's change our governing documents to give us a vote in how our money is utilized. We must have a voice and a vote in the expenditure process. Thank you. I look forward to visiting with many of you, and I would appreciate your support.